sound now? Is there sound now?
That is, that's my
Is
fault.
there? It was Tom's fault.
And you did so much good jokes as well.
It was Tom, everyone.
Broden did so many good jokes.
If you can hear us, give me an oh yeah in the chat.
Oh yeah, in the chat.
No, not you.
Oh. Do you like my joke?
Oh yeah, in the chat. This is my head.
Someone's back on the D's.
Oh yeah. This is, so people will probably watch this and then go, well, this is not a podcast. This is people miming and then them just screaming random things. As me just saying my head as I try to adjust headphones on my head.
Yeah, it's fun.
I wouldn't mention this. I wouldn't mention this for the normal pod, but since we're visual, you'll notice that I'm holding my head like a fuckwit. It's because I've got a sore neck because I did an overhead press on 60 kilos with a sore neck already. And you shouldn't do that.
Right.
And I thought I warmed up enough, but I didn't. So now I'm Batman.
Yeah, right.
And I can't move my head, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to bounce a pill. Do you think Santa, when he overhead presses 60 kilos and does his neck, that he goes, well, I'm not going to bounce that pill? No. Santa goes out and bounces that pill.
Gets on with it.
Broden, I'm cooking tacos. Are you jealous? Wizzy Fizzy 33. No, I'm not. Because, I'll tell you why, fucker, is because I had Mexican for lunch, Father's Day. We should talk about it on the pod. Great. Shall we rock in?
Sure, I'm ready when you are.
I'm fucking ready now. Hey, fuck off, Godwolf Music. You're not welcome here. We banned you weeks ago.
I'm closing the chat now anyway. I'm focusing in.
All right, sick. Are you ready to rock?
Yes.
Hey, I might say bye to the bye round, but hello to our first round of W, which had it all. Biff, bumps, brawlers, wind, and some upsets too. We're going to gear up, wrap up the W. We're going to talk about the first round of finals, but more importantly, we're going to take a pill and we're going to bounce it. Shit yeah, friends and family. Let it fade out. That's all good. Welcome to the Footy with Broden Kelly. This is a weekly football podcast that takes place in Australia and talks about AFL football. And it's the only AFL podcast where you can come and you are going to get real, up-to-date, proper information about the football. But other podcasts, Sam McClure will say, I know what's going on. AFL.com.au are liars. And anything you ever read on AFL.com.au is from liars. That's not true. Particularly, they have to do good W work as well.
They do, yeah.
But I'm joined. What the most important thing to know about this podcast, before I say I'm joined by Tom, which I'm about to do, I'll say I'm joined by Tom. But before I do that, it's important to know that we know what we're talking about.
Yep.
That's becoming a thing I say at the start.
Yes.
So that people don't join up. They go, someone said something nice and said I should listen, and then they tune in and we say that Nick Daicos has played 4 games or something.
Yeah.
So I say up the top, we know what we're talking about, and that's ironic. That's an ironic thing.
It's an ironic statement.
Yeah, or it's not ironic. It's Alanis Morissette.
It's misleading.
It's the antithesis of that. Anyway, I'm joined by Tom.
Hi, how are you?
Tom, tell him how much weight you've lost in a week.
I think I've lost 3 kilos.
Oh, give yourself a round of applause in the sound later.
Okay, great.
Oh, Tom, congratulations. Now, what is your secret?
Eating 0 sugar and 0 carbs for a week.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So no bread?
No bread.
No sugar?
I was having a lot of bread.
What about sugar bread?
No sugar bread.
Have you had any fairy bread?
No fairy bread's top tier.
Fairy bread is S tier in the breads. And like some would argue that it's just white bread with hundreds of thousands on it.
Yeah, but you got to use the right fat as well. You don't just use butter.
Why you call them butter fat?
No. I'm an expert on fats now that I'm a keto expert. But no, there's a you're supposed to use a proper thing. You know, you don't just use butter, Broden. You're supposed to use a proper thing.
What are you talking about? You just use butter or margarine.
No. Fairy bread has a special fat.
Mayonnaise?
No.
Stop saying special fat.
No, it's a special fat. People will know what I'm talking about.
Jeez, you crazy.
It's called, it's in the supermarket. It comes in paper.
Folks, I just want to let you know what's happened. Tom went to do some research. Nothing came up on Google. Google came back with 1 billion responses, all saying, what the fuck are you talking about, Tom? About his special fat. We can't talk about this all day, Tom, because...
I would love to, though.
But I will just have to jump in and say that this episode of Footy is brought to you by BWS. Get your drinks for game day sorted and enjoy the footy with BWS. And that doesn't stand for Broden will source your friendship. No, it stands for... What does it stand for?
Beer, wine and spirits.
Right. Sorry. It's lovely to be here. I just want something else I need to mention. We do talk footy.
Yes.
But I do have to mention something else. So on the Thursday pod, I went into great depth as a joke about my swallowing issues. And how I sometimes, if you weren't listening, essentially I was like, sometimes if I'm really enjoying food, it'll back up in my throat and I can't swallow and I have to quietly get up from whatever dinner I'm at and go and try and force vom and other things. I said all the other symptoms. Multiple doctors, multiple medical people and multiple people who suffer from this reached out and they all said, they're like, symptom by symptom of what you're describing, you have achalasia.
Which is a state in Texas or a town in Texas, I think.
This ain't Texas. That's a Beyonce
but
thing.
We hold...
Is that what
I think so, yeah.
I've only seen the meme.
Oh, no, it's a good song.
Now I have achalasia, which is damage
I was thinking of Appalachia.
You mother... It's just damage in your throat.
Yeah.
And they're like... And I was like, oh, wow, I've been living with this thing.
Yeah.
And then it went, there is no cure. I was like, all right, well...
Welcome. Now we're both dying of incurable disease.
And I'm running for achalasia. I'm running for achalasia. Speaking of which, Tom, it's September 1st, the day we're recording this, and you started running today.
I started running today, got 5Ks in today. Took me an hour. Let's be honest, it was a very brisk walk, and I sort of pushed myself into a jog a couple of times.
Yeah, don't jog. Do not jog.
I jogged for probably 10 minutes out of the 60.
I think about. I know that feels exciting now to get into a bit of a canter.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking in LA Delhi. Think about day 25.
Yeah.
When the finals are around the corner.
Yeah.
We don't want you in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I know. I feel like when I'm walking, right, you tell me if you feel the same. When I'm like 40 minutes in, I'm like, oh my God, I'm 40 minutes in. I haven't really felt the heartbeat pop off. You know, I haven't really, I'm sweating, but I'm not like, so I feel like I go for a little jog, just push it a little bit, you know, and then I really get the heart rate up, you know?
No, yeah, but, you know, just warm into it is all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that's correct.
So how many Ks have you done so far? I did
5.1.
You're doing 100 Ks?
Yeah, well, that's the aim, but if I keep doing today, then I'll get to 150, which is cool.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I got to add 2.
You did 2 today?
Yeah, so put it on your little list.
Yeah, okay, I'll add 2 from Broden.
Shit, there's so much stuff going on. Thank God we do this pod to touch base. I was going to text it to you. Now, folks, I was thinking of changing it up for the W. I was thinking of changing up and not doing round the grounds or waiting until we can focus on it and I can really put the thought and effort into it. But also, we're going to talk about the W, but I do in part want to leave a lot of the detail of the W games to the expert, which is Marnie, who can go into so much detail more than I can. Ours is top line. But then Fat Man Scoob died.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd do an impromptu old school round the grounds where I just talk through them. Fat Man Scoob, R.I.P.
Yeah.
The first game was on Friday night at North Sydney Oval in Sydney, and by God, did the moths come. Yeah. All those Sydney-siders talking about how cool it is to live in Sydney never once mentioned that the place is 95% moths. Dear God, what was happening? Well, I know what was happening. It was a big old game from Chloe Malloy with 2 goals. Asram Privatelli, Swanee start the season right, and they're looking good for the first time in a while. Then, later that night, 2 games on a Friday. West Coast Eagles win by 1 point under the new tyrannical reign of Daisy Pearce. West Coast beat the Tigers, adding to the Tigers' wonderful year. Now, Daisy Pearce, they will never lose again in West Coast.
Yes.
You will never see a West Coast team ever lose again while Daisy is there. Speaking of teams that are way too powerful, the Giants. We knew nothing about them, but then they destroyed Western Bulldogs by 63 points. 1 goal less than the ideal amount. Goldsworthy with 4 goals. Garnett with 2 goals. And then up top, Barr with 29 and Parker with 29. Doggies are young and they look too young to be playing. Then the game that Tom attended at Windy Hill. He went to see Bombers not have a very good game against the powerhouse, the Dockers. It rained. There was a rainbow. There was good vibes. Was it good, Tom?
Yes, it was very fun.
Oh, yeah. Then the Suns sucked at home against the Sainers by a 54-point loss. Oh, this is a good bit. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Then the D's went to Geelong and destroyed the Cats by 2 points. Very good game. And then the showdown in the home of the W in many ways. The Crows beat the Power by 14 points. And then at Frankston today, where another game should never, ever be played again. 38-point win by Hawthorn against Carlton. Mimi Hill was here.
Yeah.
She let us down.
Yeah.
No, she did great.
No,
and then the
did.
last game, it was up in Queensland. It was hot. North had no chance. Brisbane they were the premiers, so they lost by 44 points. North look incredible. It was a revenge game. They looked so fantastic. Riddell had 31 and a goal. That's 3 points for me. Jazzy Garner as good as always. And that's the round the grounds.
Old school, Broden. Very good.
He died.
Yeah.
Sad.
Very sad.
But that's what we say. We say that Fat Man Scoop is sick, the W is sick, and it's time to give me the first and inaugural sting. Ooh.
Absolutely pumped.
Starting strong, starting hard. This is a weird vibe, this one.
Yeah.
Now, there was a few things else from the W that I wanted to mention. So the Moths were incredible. Did you see the Moths?
Yeah, so I was not on Twitter or anything as I was watching. I was watching downstairs on the Foxtel on the big TV.
Very fancy, very fancy.
I didn't know what the fuck was going on. At first I thought it was like a little bit of like static on the TV, and I was like, nah, that's like giant bugs. Like I've never seen anything like it. So there were moths.
There were moths everywhere, and there was plague levels. It was
incredible. I've never seen anything like it.
But the game was good too. There was a fair bit of biffo too.
Yeah, there was. There really was. They were really going at it. But hang on, rewind a second. Is this just what Sydney's like?
Yeah,
in September.
That's my understanding.
Like, I don't understand.
When we show up for our show on September 11.
Yeah.
And don't forget to come to the show.
Yes.
I'm assuming that when we go on stage, it's going to be moths everywhere.
Yeah.
Because I think the Sydney siders, they try to keep it closed doors. They're like, oh, yeah, it's the harbour, it's Seagull World, it's the monorail. Don't mention the moths. Yeah. Because there were so many moths.
Because Enmore Road's not like that when we stay on Enmore Road, you know? Like, it's not covered in moss.
Well, do you know that for sure?
I don't. Now I'm questioning everything.
Yeah, well, because you're crazy. And maybe the other thing, speaking of crazy weather events, the Frankston game that we watched today.
Yeah.
Too windy at that place. Yeah. And across the board, it's, you know, the fact that all these teams play so well in such intense circumstances needs to be marked. Yeah. But I feel like Carlton can kind of just scratch that game off and go, okay, when we play at Icon or a more reasonable venue.
Yeah. It was so insane. I was watching and I forget the Hawthorn player, but there's a Hawthorn player going for a goal, maybe like 20 metres out, right? Yeah. But on a tight angle, and they kicked it. And they wanted to adjust for the wind. It went out of bounds, swung around behind the goals, and came into play through the goal square and back into play.
So that's an incredible kick. If there's no wind, that is the most incredible.
That is an impossible.
If that was deliberate,
that would be incredible.
If that was deliberate, that's really good.
Ultra banana, you know, like that's insane.
The other point I wanted to mark in the Giants game, Alicia O'Dowd, Irish player, first game,
16 seconds.
16 seconds, gets the ball, takes it out of the clearance by herself, runs into the 50 and just slots a goal.
Yeah.
So by this metrics, she's going to be the greatest player to ever live.
I think so. Fastest goal ever, I think, in the W at least.
I love Irish players so much. From Zach Toohey to Sinead Goldrick to Blaine Mackin and to other ones that don't play for Melbourne, Elise Schrodown. By golly. I feel like we don't have enough in the men's.
Oh, no, like now that Tui's retiring, like who have we got left?
But we've said it a few times, but with the W, there's enough players there to do a state of origin or to do an international rules.
It needs to happen.
And properly
Yeah.
beat Australia.
Yeah.
They would beat Australia.
Yeah, I think they might.
And that would engage so much. Give me international rules. If it's not happening behind the scenes, if they're too busy putting trees up at the launches and not thinking about international rules
Yeah.
that I could go to and enjoy, then I'll do my nut.
Surely they're thinking about it, right?
Australia versus Ireland, W, Croke Park, MCG, even Icon would go off.
Yeah.
I would love it so much.
I mean, it's so hard to fit the regular season in right now, but imagine if like the finals week as like a curtain raiser, it was like, you know, like the grand final week for the men's. It
Yeah.
was also like the international rules. Like that would be so sick.
Wouldn't that be sick?
Yeah, I would love that.
I hope that infrastructure is beginning to happen around the background.
You would hope so. I have no faith in the AFL, but you'd hope so.
Yeah, that's fair enough. The other one, I believe, and I should have backed this up, but I'm pretty sure that Albert Park, or Alberton Park, I should say, in Adelaide for the showdown sold out.
Yes, I think yes, it did.
So-
7,500, I believe.
It's how many?
7,500.
So I think the tipping point is happening over there,
Yeah.
and they need to move it to Adelaide Oval and get 20,000 there regularly for these games because they've got to stop capping it.
Yeah, so Marnie was tweeting that they've done a redevelopment there, and it used to be an 11.5, and now it's 7.5. So they've actually in the redevelopment made it smaller.
Why have they?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I
Why
don't
have
know
they done that?
I don't know the intricacies of it. So it's sold out. Yeah, it sounds like it's sold out easily.
Well, no, yeah, it's so exciting. I think if Daisy can get West Coast to being competitive, then Perth will tip too.
Yeah.
Because Freo's a strong side there and they get good numbers.
Yeah.
And if West Coast become good, and then you've got Perth, Adelaide really, really, really strong. That's so exciting.
Yeah, 100%.
And then obviously Brisbane is the best team in the league, the reigning premiers. That excites me. I'll leave more of the proper detail to Marnes on Wednesday, so stay tuned. In the meantime, like they say in the classics, Tom Sting. So we lived. Good choice of bang, 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 by the way, because that was one of my favourite moments.
Yeah. I think you made this thing, remember?
Yeah. Not my favourite moment isn't making the sting.
Oh, right.
It's hearing that from JB say, because
Bang,
that
bang,
was kind
bang.
of, hey, we're breaking ahead here in the grand final.
Yeah.
What a proud moment for D's fans.
Yep.
The last 2 weeks or so, less proud moments for D's fans. So let's go through the timeline.
Yep.
Rumour a week or so ago, Petrarca wants out.
Yep.
Bit of that for a week or so.
Yeah, and like weird little bits of details leaking from that.
Bits and pieces, we call them. Bits and pieces. And then Monday this week, at the end, when the Ds have all their end of, wrap-up meetings with the coaches, it becomes quite prominent that he wants to leave.
Yeah.
And then it just goes up to 1 billion.
Yeah. Can I just say while you remind me, right, about how we were talking about like misreporting and stuff? I swear I saw multiple reports that Petrarca didn't show up to Mad Monday, but it turns out the D's didn't even have a bloody Mad Monday. They had a Wacky Wednesday. And I swear to God,
And he was
I
at
saw
Wacky-
so many reports.
And he was at Wacky Wednesday.
Yeah, but I saw all these reports saying Track hasn't showed up to Mad Monday,
Well, technically they were right.
Yeah, I guess they were right, but I swear it was like a talking point, unless it was just one of those things that took off on Twitter and wasn't true, But
Wow.
I just remembered that as you said it, and I was just like, yeah, crazy reporting on all of it.
And then it got to a point, got intenser. The president, Kate Roffey, went on, what day was it?
I think it was Wednesday,
Wednesday.
I reckon.
The day of.
Oh, no, it must have been Thursday, because we
Yeah.
didn't discuss it on the Footy with Marnes.
So then Jared Waitley had Kate Roffey on. Fair to say, not a strong performance.
No, I think I didn't listen to it, but I saw a lot of clips floating around that didn't paint her in a positive light?
No, it wasn't strong. It wasn't strong. There was a lot of, have you spoken to the Petrarca family? No. No, I didn't do that.
It's just not a great choice of words for a lot of the responses as well, I would say.
Well, it wasn't. It didn't instill a lot of
confidence.
And then we got to Saturday morning. Jared Waitley did another thing about there is clearly a lack of care and concern, and that's come through. Like that's kind of you can just confirm that.
Yeah.
And then it got to Saturday night. Got to about 5 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then the D's put out a press release.
Yeah.
On their Instagram and things saying, what does it say? Petrarca's committed to the D's.
Yeah, and a few direct quotes from him, which is great. I would have still loved to have seen like a video or something with Track coming out and addressing it directly. But the funniest thing was that the D's posted it as like an exclusive article on the D's website.
Yeah,
that
was interesting.
Exclusive scoop for the Melbourne Football Club.
So all I've got to say is we're back.
Thank God. Yeah,
we're back.
Thank God, honestly.
Do you think... Obviously flag next year, but do you think the flag in 2026?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, why not?
Because
dream big.
Now that that's all sorted and there's no more issues.
Clary's going to have a big preseason under his belt.
Yep.
Gordon signed on for another 3 years. Has Jack Viney.
Everything's fine here. Everything's good. There's no
knives being held up to my throat.
Here's my opinions on this.
Yeah.
Is I would hope that this makes sure that some sort of change happens.
I can guarantee you it will, 100%. Hasn't it already started? Haven't you already changed some assistant coaches or?
Oh, there is a little bit of behind the scenes changing, but I think they're clearly, because if you're in Petrarca's situation and you've got reservations about the club and the way that they're handling things, and then you go through a really severe trauma and you feel like that's not handled.
Yeah.
If I was me, that would trigger me and go, fuck the lot of you.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no doubt.
If it just goes back to the same setup again, I would stop supporting them, I think.
Yeah, no.
And I'm saying that on a whim.
Yes.
But if nothing changes, if I see nothing, I feel like it's impossible. But I really believe and have a vibe that they're hopefully this instills some actual change.
Yeah, I think it almost has to. Like when you go through something like that, I feel like you come out a changed person and everything changes.
Yeah.
And then you just look at everything and you're like, yep, I'm going to set a line. And he has the power to make a difference and to make change.
I heard someone say this, and this is just true about like organizations and people and things, is it's better out. And that's true of a fart as well. It's better out than
even
in.
a vom.
Even a vom, it's better out than in.
Yeah.
Because when it's in, it's all, what's it going to be?
Yeah.
Is it going to be blood? Mm-hmm. Is it going to be carrot?
Yeah.
Is it going to be
milk?
Petrarca wants to leave. We don't know. I've never spewed up Petrarca wants to leave, but but once it's out, it sucks. It was painful. You filmed it.
Yeah.
You filmed it happening.
Yep.
But it's happened, and now we know what there is. So you know what there is to clean up. You know that maybe you have to eat some dry bickies for dinner,
yes,
as to not upset your tummy.
Yes,
you need to change that person, remove that thing, create that infrastructure.
Yeah, and you deal with it. And I think that's the only one thing, the only knock, and I think this is deserved for Melbourne, is I think that's what everyone says about football clubs over and over again, is it's a safe place to stand up in front of your peers and your colleagues and say, this is what I'm going through and I need support. And everyone wraps their arms around you. And clearly Christian hasn't felt that that's a safe space to do that at the moment, because maybe he needed to just get away or whatever.
Well, it's a compounding thing, I think, as well. Like, I think a few things that need to be ticked off is much, much stronger leadership, much, much better infrastructure, a home base. They need to have this home base sorted out so there's a place that people stop having to drive to Tasmania for our training.
Right. Do they train at Casey? No, they train at Gosh's, right?
They train at Gosh's half the time. They train at Casey half the time. Right. They share with Melbourne Storm at one place. The other place is 9 hours. It's closer to Los Angeles, technically, than Melbourne CBD.
Yeah.
The one that everyone can fix, if you're a Melbourne fan, is go to the go to the games. Like, show up and be. I feel like I say it all the time, there's this core group of people who are really great D's fans, but then there's a lot of people who the truth of it is, and it's quite a nice thing to say, and it's hard to generalize 50 to 70,000 people, which is what most football clubs are. It's hard to generalize, but you can start to get some certain things start to happen if you look across the whole number. And one is, I think just a lot of Melbourne fans, unlike other clubs, there's a lot of Melbourne fans who really care about it, but also have a lot of other cool shit going on in their lives.
Totally.
So, and that's the truth. I think that's the truth of the board as well, is it's people who are like, oh yeah, I care about this, but also I don't need this.
Yeah.
But if you look at other clubs like Carlton, or if you look, even Gold Coast to an extent now, there's fan bases who are like, I need this and it's really important to me and it's my culture, my family. There is a buy-in that's really, and it means that the fan base show up in round 24. But I feel like there's a lot of people who go for Melbourne who have lovely lifestyles who just choose to drop off and it doesn't concern them, which is a great way to live. But it'll be lovely if we could just start to change the. Paul Roos said in like 2016, there's a veil of negativity around the Ds. And the main response from people was, our fan base is pretty entitled. They went, don't you talk about us like that. Instead of going, maybe that might be true.
Yeah.
And I feel like that cancerous, toxic energy still comes out from now.
Oh, 100%. I just quietly, the amount of people that turn on track immediately and are walking it back now is like
100%.
pretty full on.
Yeah, we have an entitled audience. Like sometimes it's a bit of the I feel like the people who complain maybe most in customer service are the ones who have quite a high ego or about themselves and go, hey, I deserve more from you, 15-year-old at Woolworths. How dare you talk to me like that? Yeah. That's a certain personality type that maybe is prevalent at the Ds a bit.
Yeah.
We've talked too much about this, and I'm sorry to all the other 17 clubs, but some of you might enjoy me having an internal fight with myself in the Melbourne Football Club. I hope you've enjoyed that. But other people might be like, move the fuck on, because we want to talk about now something special after this sting. Far out, you're sting happy.
Oh, yeah. I was just, you pointed at me. I was like, okay.
But the point, it's never been the point. The point is like, hey, get ready.
Yeah, I'm born ready.
And then I'll say something like, and then we hit that sting.
Yeah, I was just ready. I'm ready. I'm born ready.
You're trigger happy. You've come in.
Red hot.
Now you had a magical moment on the weekend.
Did I?
Yes, Tom. You took your seed, your son.
Oh, yeah.
Addy, to his first ever football game.
Yeah.
And it was at Windy Hill.
Was it Windy Hill?
Now, why? First question before I get into how was it?
Yep.
What was it like?
Yep.
How was the experience?
Yep.
Why are you trying to make your son go for the Bombers?
Yep.
How was it?
It was good. It was good. A little bit of detail we showed there. We came a little bit late. Atlas slept in a little bit, and then we struggled to find a park. That was the whole thing. And then I had to carry him quite a far way to get there. So we showed up a bit late. I think we showed up halfway through quarter two.
Yeah.
Spent the rest of the quarter.
I'd say second quarter, because quarter two sounds like it's 15 minutes until.
Yeah, true. Yeah, no, and then we spent the rest of the quarter getting chippies because Atlas wouldn't sit still without chippies. So yeah, we got there and sort of settled on the hill. It was great because Atlas could get up and run around and we could watch.
Yeah.
Can I tell you the funniest thing, which just shows how dumb I am, right?
No.
Yeah. It's just funny because where we were sitting on the hill, we couldn't see the scoreboard. There was because the scoreboard is like opposite the big podium.
Yeah, like the
people
stadium.
sit. Yeah.
Podium is sort of where someone make a speech.
Yeah. What do you call it? Like you know what I'm talking
grandstand.
about. Grandstand, yeah. So we couldn't see the scoreboard where we were. I had no commentary. So genuinely, I had no fucking idea what was going on for most of the game, which was fun because I just sat back, enjoyed the vibes, watched the girls have a kick around, watched some awesome goals. The only big negative was like from the moment we got there, the talk was about the Bonnie Too Good and Clark collision. And it just, I don't know if you saw it, but it looked awful.
I didn't see it. Now, I would have liked to have seen it, but I was going to do 2 Guys, 1 Cup live.
Yeah.
But I was like, hang on, Windy Hill's 10 minutes from my house. I'm going to swing past and go to a quarter of this. I could not get a park.
Yeah, I parked like over a kilometre away.
So I looked through, I could see all the people having a great time. I could see that the vibe was good, but then I just kept driving.
Yeah. But it was great. Like, I think lots of music and just like lovely people. A lot of where I was sitting, a lot of families. So Atlas got bored of his chips about halfway through the third and started running around and stuff. So I was just chasing him around.
That's why it's more perfect for bringing your toddler.
Yeah, that's why I would never bring Atlas to the MCG or Marvel, honestly. Like, it's just...
Never?
I can't see myself doing it a short term.
Yeah, no, ever though? Because in like 2 years' time...
I think long term, it depends what he likes, right? But yeah, he can only sit still for like half an hour maximum. So yeah, it was perfect. But after a while, I got over him. He kept trying to get in the portaloos.
Yeah.
Like trying to climb into the portaloos.
Well, let him. He'll only do that once.
I just kept having heart attacks with like people opening the doors. You know how people jump out of a portaloo and smacking him in the face with the door?
Yeah.
So I was like, no, we're going now. Like,
don't you think they do a good job with portaloos to make them smell okay?
Yeah, unless you're at a festival and it's day 4, they're fine. They're good.
I think that the technology we've got in the portaloos is really, really magical. Nothing worse than when hot sun's on a portaloo, though. There's not much you can do about that.
Sweaty and gross,
did you didn't eat? He had nuggets?
No, so I'm on my strict diet. But what was bad was I fed my son these nuggets and the chips without thinking about it, right? And then I saw Georgia Radjic on Twitter tweet that this is not real chicken. I can't believe it's $20. I was like, oh my God, I just fed that to my son.
What do you mean?
She was just bagging out the chips and nuggets that I just fed to my son.
Oh, but it's nuggets.
I know. I was like, well, whatever. But it's fine. He's eating worse. He eats dirt and rocks.
Yeah, he eats dirts and rocks.
Yeah, and I have to, tell him, stop eating dirt and rocks.
That's just opened a traumatic memory for me when I was about 8 years old. Is I was in the Women's and Children's Hospital in Adelaide, and I was in like the emergency ward. I had like appendix, and there was a kid across the hall from me who inhaled rocks, and there was rocks in his lungs.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the night, like a lady nurse came in, he like screamed, yeah. And then he was like, get away, I'll kick you in the nuts. I remember that's still in my head.
Yeah, but I want to get out to all these suburban grounds. I've done Icon Park and I've done Windy now. I don't know what I'm going to do next. Go down to Frankston eventually when the Suns play there, which is going to be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, just vibes. I really liked it down there.
Congrats. So how many stars do you give it?
I'll give it a 3 out of 5 for the footy because I was mostly concentrating on my son.
Yeah.
And I'll give it 5 out of 5 for bring your son along.
Great. And I give it a sting. Just want to talk to the YouTube people. We are lagging, and I'm sorry about that. Hopefully the internet here starts to sort itself out and stop being shit.
Is that?
It's just jumping a little bit, I can see.
We're dropping frames.
We're dropping frames, and I can imagine it would be a little bit annoying, but I don't know if the sound is affecting it or not. But
usually the sound is okay if we're dropping frames. We're getting good downloads.
Yeah, it looks like it's picked up. It was just a bit jumpy there for a little bit. And people have mentioned it.
Okay, I apologize to you guys. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. Well, mate, we're getting 60 uploads a second. It should fix itself, I think.
I can see it jumping.
Okay, great.
But hopefully it's sounds okay. Sounds okay.
Yeah, it's usually the sound is, because it's low.
But what's the point in listening if you can't see our sexy faces at perfect frame?
That's true.
Anyway, I'm going to jump back into it now. Tom, we've finished we finished a week ago 24 rounds of the men's, and it's been a long year.
25 rounds of the men's.
Oh yeah, Jesus. Yeah, well, it's been a long year, so I thought I would do what happened this week in the men's.
Fucking nothing. I can't think of anything.
Incorrect.
A lot of trade rumors.
Incorrect. AA.
All Australian, yeah.
The All Australian came out. What did you think of the All Australian?
Thought the All Australian was fair. It's a very tough thing to do, especially in like midfield and stuff. But the AA backup team I thought was better structured and probably a better team than the actual one that was chosen.
Yeah, cool.
Like actual better defenders and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like you had Zorko off halfback and stuff. And then, yeah. I just think.
Don't you think there should be a second, like an All Australian seconds team, like in the NBA?
Yeah.
So instead of doing the extended squad of 44, is it or whatever?
Yeah. So they literally have like half get in. Yeah.
Yeah. So make it, because it's not, I don't see any drawback from having a All Australian second team.
Yeah.
And you can make the argument, hey, maybe the second team beats the first team.
Well, that's pretty much what I'm saying. Yeah, because people put it together, Brad.
Yeah.
As like a team, how it would look like the seconds team. And I looked at it and I was like, that's better than the AA.
Yeah, you can go like, and it sounds good as you go, yeah, Cherry had his All Australian second.
Yeah.
Like, that's great.
That is better. It should be an official thing. And then they should fight.
Yeah. Yeah, they should fight.
Oh, I mean, like, have a match, because that would be unreal.
I mean, that'll never, ever happen, but it's a fun idea.
It is.
It's a really fun idea.
It'd be so cool.
But I thought I would put together my AA
Yeah.
for the year.
Okay,
What do you
great.
think of that?
Yeah, I'm just excited for you.
Now, this is not the AA that's already happened.
Yeah.
This is the AA of this podcast.
Figured you'd put some weird twist on it.
Well, that's what this is. Imagine if I just sat down and went, I think actually Harris Andrews deserves to be there.
That's what I would have done.
So this is the All-Australian of the Footy podcast men's season.
Okay, great.
At back pocket, on the back line, we've got the Yui ad.
yeah, I remember that.
It had great feedback from people. So I actually got contacted by some of the people who were involved in the ad.
Yeah.
And they expressed their discontent with the ad as well. At fullback,
Yeah.
and this works on multiple levels, I think, Matt Preston
Yeah.
would be a good fullback.
100%.
Gigantic
Yeah.
unit.
Yeah.
But also, when Matt Preston came on this podcast, it said to the world, this is a real fucking show. And and we talk about the finer things. And everyone, from then on, our audience got classier and more cultured. So that was a huge moment.
Yeah.
The third on the back line is having the Sharon. So I remember before we did the first show of the year, before the season launched, I was at Rebel Sport Airport West. Don't ask me why. I don't remember why.
Yeah.
But I saw the Sharon and I thought, we need a Sharon. It was $140, Tom.
Yeah. Tax
Now-
deductible, I hope.
Yeah, it was tax deductible. It is. It will. I didn't tax deduct it.
No, surely.
Fuck. I haven't done my tax yet.
Oh, right. I remember, actually.
But I looked at it and I went, we need this. And it has been a wonderful source. It's good for it to sit in front of us on the podcast desk, because sometimes we'll be sitting here talking about, you'll raise things that have nothing to do
With football.
with football, and it's rude of you. And then we'll look to the center and go, that's why we're here. And then there's been moments where, it says inflate to 69 on it.
Yes, which is funny.
I kick it around on the way when we're putting it away.
Kick it into me.
So it's been a great addition, and it's in the AA. Half back line, sticky date pudding. Remember that whole thing about sticky date and whether it's good in pub sticky date? And
I remember having
the roll
sugar.
on to apple crumble and crumble corner, giving us the apple crumbles.
Oh, that was yummy, yeah.
But now you can't eat any of that.
no, and it's sad.
But it's a great AA. At centre half back, I've got Carlton, who by a country mile seemed to, for some reason, just seems so focused on giving us as many Carlton players to interview and chat to as humanly possible. And I can't think of any fan of this show who goes for Carlton.
No. But,
I would say our fan base is, well, I know they're Fremantle.
yeah.
I know 8 of them are Collingwood.
Yeah.
Essendon, a large number.
Yeah.
D's.
Yeah.
But no Carlton fans.
No,
A lot of Swannies fans.
Yeah, I was about to say Sydney. Sydney's strongly represented.
But no Carlton fans. But they keep just bringing us wonderful people.
Yeah, excellent guests. Elijah Hollins was great.
Prank calling Joe, Mimi the other day.
Yeah, Mimi was great. Darcy last year was awesome. Darcy Vesio
Yeah.
was great.
Some Saints people coming into the chat.
Yep.
And on the other wing, centre half back, Aliens Romulus. Because
I haven't seen it.
No, but I keep talking about it.
Do you?
And so people, what you start to see in the comments when people, oh, thank God he mentioned it again. Because there was about 4 in a row where I mentioned Aliens
Did you?
Romulus.
Okay,
Yeah.
fun.
I didn't know. Do you want to?
Yeah, please
Should
do.
I can't spoil it. There's a big alien in the movie.
Sure.
And it's the actor who I thought it's this gigantic alien. You're like, well, that's all CGI.
Sure.
It's that gigantic basketball boy with the weird posture.
The weird posture.
There's it was a basketball boy played him.
Like a current basketball player.
Yeah, no, you know him from he never actually played because his body's not quite right.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's the alien.
Oh, right.
I'll show you some content later. Don't worry about that.
All right.
Across the center, on the wing, we've got Hitler.
Yep.
But not Hitler. The documentary about Hitler.
Yeah, we did talk about that for a couple of weeks.
Well, we got obsessed with Hitler.
Yeah, it
because
was-
I came in, I was like, you got to watch this Hitler.
And I actually watched it. It's
And then
one
you
of
were
the
like-
only things I've watched.
Fuck, I love this Hitler stuff.
Yeah,
This Hitler documentary is great. And then everyone started watching Hitler.
Yeah,
And so it was great for the pod to talk about Hitler.
it was good.
Because you can talk about Hitler for ages.
Yeah.
In the center, your Crohn's chat. People loved your Crohn's chat. And after we recorded it, you were like, I don't know if people are going to like that. And I went, hey, I think it's going to be in the All-Australian this year. And look how much now. Would you have thought that doing that podcast would lead to you having to go on a treadmill today?
No, I don't think so, but it's been positive for sure.
And that's why we've put it right in the middle. Speaking of you, there was days when you couldn't be here. So on the other wing, we've got when Dwayno co-hosted.
Yeah.
That was otherworldly.
Yeah, that
Just to have Dwayno sitting where you sit now.
Yeah, I can't even imagine it.
And there was a moment where, like, because we were talking shit and I was making him drink milk and stuff, but then there was a moment where I was like, what do you think of this team? He was like, pretty good, I reckon. Oh, yeah. And then just went straight into like midday madness.
Yeah.
And that was great. Like he was just ready to go, and, you know, at on the half forward line.
Yeah.
The Chicago River, a new edition, ended fantastic. People were like, stop talking about footy. Start talking about which way the river in Chicago flows.
It's true. They did.
And it was magical. At half forward, centre half forward, the concept of flakiness, you loving flake.
Flaky.
When did you first think of the word flake and using it as every second word in this podcast, Tom?
I think it was somewhere when the Bulldogs lost uncharacteristically by like 100 points at some point. Or it could have been the D's in Alice.
But why the word flank?
Flake? Because of flake mantle, I think.
Really?
No, I've always used flaky, haven't I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know where it came out of you?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I got no idea. It's a good word though.
You can't, it just came out of you.
Yeah, it's just...
Like an alien in Alien.
Did I invent
Romulus.
flaky?
I don't think you did.
No, I don't.
But flake, when I think of flaky, I think of like a friend who are going to plan an event and then doesn't come. They're flaky.
Yes, I can think of many.
Yeah, you're flaky. You can be flaky.
Yeah, I can be, yeah.
And on the other wing, we've got Melbourne Football Club absolutely doing my nut.
Yeah.
Self-explanatory there.
Yes.
And then the forward line is GMHBA Stadium in the forward pocket.
Yeah.
And me calling it Sagrada Familia.
Yeah.
Because that's just a nice, easy thing to go back to. That's and thank you, Geelong, for bringing me that.
Yeah. The jokes and the pork barreling never gets old.
Now, Tom, when you look at the spine of this, it's our chats that we've had with people. Matt Preston, yourself. Who do you think I've got at full forward?
Oh, God. Probably Jared Waitley.
Correct.
Yeah.
Did you read?
No, you're very predictable.
When we went in and chatted to Jared, I was like, I think of Jared as a big dork.
Oh, God.
I think of him as a dork.
Yeah.
A big dork, right? And then I walk into SEN, we set up and he's in person, his energy is actually jock. But you realise he spends his whole time around big jocks.
Yeah, it's true.
So he's like, I thought he'd be like, because you hear him in context around all the people he talks to and you're like, he sounds, hello. But then in person, he was like, Broden, nice to meet you. And it was like, oh, this guy's a sporty guy.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
On the other wing was when Rhett Bartlett came on and within context of football, I could talk about 9/11.
Yes.
And I could talk about Futurama.
Yeah.
These are key moments. Did I do followers? Yes, followers. So these are in the middle players.
Yeah.
Tom recording himself spewing.
Yeah.
Once you brought that in as canon,
yeah,
it was hard to. People were confused by it, but it also taught people a lot about you.
Yeah, it's law.
What's your thoughts on that?
No, I think it deserves its position. I think
this is one that people wouldn't think about a lot, but it's very important to me and you. And I'd love for you to tell the story of how we came to be with it.
Yep.
In the middle, we've got the footy sign.
Yeah.
As we turn and look at it.
Yeah.
Tell us about the footy sign, Tom.
So Broden said we need a sign, and I reached out to the good people at Kings of Neon,
Which is a pun.
which is a pun.
How is it a pun?
They had because it should be Kings of Leon.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, but they had really excellent customer service. I put in for a quote. I got a call back within minutes and like constant follow-ups. Like they wanted to get that sale. Did a really good job. Knocked a little bit off the price. Gave in a free standee, to hold it up.
Oh, stand, yeah.
So because at first I was going to put it on the table behind us.
Yeah.
So the free stand.
But it
and all
didn't
that.
work in the frame.
Didn't work. So.
But that speaks to last year we just had the normal setup.
Yeah.
But then other shows would come in that had very different focuses for their podcast. And
Yeah.
people would think, this is the footy podcast?
Yeah.
No. So we had to redress this room.
Yeah.
And so now it stands for potted plants And footy signs.
And purple lights.
And the footy, of course.
Of course.
Now, I drilled you hard to get the sign as well.
You did. You were like, I want to hear tomorrow. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I got a bit hutchy about the whole thing.
Yeah, but it was good. You make shit happen.
And then another time when you were away, we have to mark Wayne and Leone.
Yeah, they're funny.
Who came on. Mum talked about Jane Eyre.
Yeah.
Wayne slowly and accidentally revealed that he DMs Rodney Eade on LinkedIn for some reason.
Yeah.
It was just, and then on the bench.
Yeah.
We're through the AA here.
Okay, great.
And they all get a blazer.
Yep.
Milk.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, just
no,
milk.
it's a classic part of the pod.
Kebab meat. I don't know why.
Just felt it.
I just felt like kebab meat should be in. There was a period where we started talking about kebab meat a bit.
Yeah, you got really obsessed with a local kebab.
Yeah, I might have it after this.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I think that kebab meat is good.
Yeah, what I'm doing at the moment is kebab meat with just Greek natural yogurt. It's quite nice.
Yeah. And then I have to a shout out. This is a personal shout out. It's not one you would hear on the waves, but it does sit with me every time you hear me. Caltex coffee. Now, on the way here, drop by the Caltex.
Yep.
$2. And as the year's gone on, it's become a staple for me. A delicious. What I'll do, I'll go up to the machine. I'll press regular. I'll press long black. Walk up to the person and say, I've got a coffee. And so it saves time.
Yeah, I love that.
So that's on our bench. And then at 4 is card game.
Oh, yeah.
Classic card game. I was going to play card game now, but I was like, hang on, impossible to get the fucking cards now.
Ah, yeah.
And the fury I feel when I go into these assholes at Caltex or 7-Eleven or wherever, and I go, you got the footy cards? I go, nah.
Ugh.
I go, I need them more than any of these stinky little kids who come in and get them.
We need them for content.
Didn't you say they followed us or messaged?
Yeah, and they sent me a message. I should just hit them up for free ones.
Can you ask for 1,000 of them, please?
We can do a contra deal.
Yes, that's what I want.
Yeah.
But that's my AA. What do you think of my AA?
He's pretty good.
What do you mean pretty good?
Pretty bloody good. It wouldn't have been my AA.
Why?
I would have had different things, I think.
What would be in your AA, just off the top of your dome?
Great stings. You know, that would have been my S&R
that's
back,
things this year.
Yeah, no, it has to be specific this year. So you can't do...
I guess if something's been in both seasons, then yeah, like Max Gorn 7 AA.
7 AAs, yeah. No, I think it was good. Nothing's coming to mind.
Do you know what I don't like about the AAs?
Yeah, here.
Is with some of the more petulant fans of footy, it makes it a chance to be abusive to the people who got in.
Yes.
And I don't like that. I understand wanting another person to have gotten in, but when you start attacking people who didn't choose to be in the side.
Like, I don't know what happened, right? And I saw Daicos SC on Twitter tweet this. Suddenly he was like, why does everyone suddenly hate Luke Ryan? And I was like, I don't think they do. And then throughout the next couple of days, the Luke Ryan slander, that man is excellent at football.
Why he didn't put himself in over someone else? He had nothing to do with it.
He didn't choose to put himself over Harris Andrews, which was, and by the way, Sam Collins is better than both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought like that is, it was really quite crazy and a weird phenomenon that everyone sort of focused in on that.
But why do they attack the player? Like, why not attack the judges or don't attack anyone?
Go after Corns, mate.
Go after the corn.
Yeah.
And you go after that sting.
Look at the dogs!
See, I'm ready. I'm on it.
Look at them!
It's really nice when people to have the live stream going on this because you get like some suggestions of who was robbed in my AA.
Yeah.
So you got 9/11 was robbed.
Okay, great.
Broden doing Kingy impersonations was robbed.
Yeah.
Zeta when he came on robbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and please, don't go Caltex. Please, they don't deserve it. I have to say something, Tom, and you're going to go no shit, Sherlock. But I feel like we need to just say this, right?
Okay, great.
Let's go through the accolades of Nick Daicos.
Yeah.
2022 Rising Star.
Yeah.
AFL Player Association. Best first year player.
Yep.
Under 22 for 22. Oh, what an awful thing to have to say.
Yep.
22 under 22 team 2022-2023.
Yep.
But does that make sense?
And 24, I assume.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. AFL Rising Star nominee 2022.
Yep.
Anzac medalist. Mm-hmm. Bob Rose Charlie Sutton medal. Mm-hmm. AFL Coaches Player Association. I can't speak. 2023 Best Young Player. All Australian 2023. All Australian 2024.
Yeah.
3 years he's been playing.
Yeah, so I think looking back now, it's quite silly that he didn't make the AA in his first year even, I would say. I think people – remember how Ben Simmons missed out on All-Star first year because they were like, you can't put a first-year player in? I think that's very much Nick as well.
So All-Australian this year as well.
Yeah.
And now he's going to win a Brownlow, they reckon.
Yeah.
So if he wins a Brownlow, 3 years in with that list of medals, then you just can't argue that he's not Judd or Gary Ablett.
I think
he's just, that is absurd.
He has every opportunity to be the greatest of all time, that's for sure. He's not as small as I thought. When I looked at him, I thought he was like 5 foot. He's not. I think he's like my height.
No.
I should Google it. I just remember the other day on the pod, I said he was real short. And a couple of people were like, no, he's not. He just like looks young, I guess. He's actually 184 centimeters. Yeah, that's as tall as me.
A little bit. You're.
I'm 191. That's right.
But it's closer to my height. I'm 185.
Yeah, like he's pretty much right.
So
that's
I'm taller than him, so I win.
Yeah.
But he's got a few medals.
But I think just because he's so young and youthful and has a youthful face, he looks little. He's strong. So there's no reason why he can't go on to be the greatest of all time.
I know I'm Sandra Sully here with the late news.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've just got to recognize.
Yeah, I think the challenge with him, and it sounds like he's a footy nut and has always been obsessed with footy. But I think the challenge will be maintaining these standards and pushing higher every year.
Yeah.
But it sounds like he's just obsessed with football, so it won't be an issue for him.
But even if he just drops off now and becomes okay for some reason, like the team, Collingwood drop off, or all their over 30s retire and they start to rebuild. You'll never, if he wins a Brownlow this year in his first 3 years, like who has ever done anything like that?
Yeah, no, like people have on the odd won a Brownlow when they were like 20, but then sort of disappeared into obscurity.
Yeah.
I don't know how many players in their first 3 have won a premiership, a Brownlow and the rest,
Judd, when did Judd win his Brownlow? Juddy's only 40.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think it was actually, there's an Essendon player who won the Brownlow when they were like 18, Broden.
Who? Not like wasn't Watson or something, was it?
No, like back in the day before
James
I watched
Hird?
football. I'll Google it.
Before you watch football?
It was Dick Reynolds, Broden, from Essendon at 19.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting from Dick Reynolds.
Yeah.
What year was that?
That was 19... That was... I just clicked away from it. 1934.
Wanganeen was quite young. 1990. When was Dick Reynolds?
1934. And yeah...
See? But we were going to go on to war, Tom.
And
he was probably had a full job by then and 8 kids.
That's true. But yeah, I think Wanganeen was 20 as well. They're quite young.
Yeah.
But then... have they won premierships? Have they done the rest as well? So, yeah.
It's a pretty impressive... I didn't even mention the premiership.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. But these are all stats we're doing.
Yeah.
So that means it'll be as good a time as any to do Tom's favorite Stats More.
Should I do a sting?
Yeah.
Anytime, any place, 11 venues, free smoke wherever you want it.
Oh, tricky Dickie Reynolds.
Yes. Stats Amore, brought to you by Refreshingly BWS Stats. So this is where I get to do a segment about stats to Broden. So like you just had that segment about Nick Daicos, right? One of my favourite things about this time of the year is looking back and being like, who killed it? Who got 3 Brownlow votes in what round and looking back? So I thought I would have a look at, in my opinion, the top 5 best statistical individual games of the year.
Oh, I like this.
So who popped up and just had a blinder that you've forgotten about? You know what I mean? So, and this is mostly about, statistically, right? Because
Please.
it's all about Stats Amore Stats, brought to you by BWS.
And I came up with the pun.
Yes, you did. It's very good.
We're in a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
So I said, any idea for a thing about stats? I said, Stats Amore.
Yeah.
And everyone, it sounds so commercial that you would hear, like, I can't even feel like I made it up. Like I heard it on
it
like
feels
Channel
like
7 or
a
something.
focus group pitched it back to you, Anyway, I think
can't believe I made that.
In number 5, we have Amadi, round 14, kicks 9 goals, 1 off 10 kicks against Adelaide.
Yes.
He had 7 marks and 6 tackles. I think That's my 5th best statistical performance this year.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
It was a special night.
Yeah, and what I'm going to get Jim to do is send him the highlight packages of these rounds.
Oh, that's good.
And get him to, put in highlights.
It's a shame Amadi hasn't had as big a game as that, but it's been kind of good for him to know that he can do that.
Yes, and I think good for Sydney too. I mean, to be honest, I think he sort of dropped off after that and even got dropped at one point. But who cares? He's a young player and he's going to be excellent for a long time to go. Now, number 4.
What do you call a forward for Sydney who travelled back in time with a doctor and almost slept with his mother?
Doctor who?
No, you call him Amadi McFly.
It's good. And he plays Johnny Be Good. When I was a kid, I used to remember Johnny Be Good, that performance, particularly in that movie, and I used to think it was so great. I went back and watched it the other day.
What do you mean?
It's all right.
Well, yeah.
It's no Stevie Ray Vaughan, no Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, no, well, he's a high school boy.
Yeah, but I just remember it being like the coolest blues, and it just wasn't that great. In number 4.
Your kids are going to love it.
Yeah, they might. Luke Ryan, round 8. So speaking of people, people hating players who made the
What did he do?
He had 39 disposals, Broden.
Against who?
Against the Tigers. He had 31 kicks at 90%. He took 15 marks and 9 rebound 50s. I think as a rebounding defender, I'm not sure you can get better than that, even against the Tigers.
They should be in the finals.
Fremantle.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not even Freya's best defender.
Yeah. Jesus.
That's
Was
crazy.
it an anomaly or is he that good?
No, I think he's very good. I think the people that didn't want him in the AA, I think what I would agree with is he maybe dropped off a little bit, or he had some cheap disposals kicking it back to back. But 31 kicks in a game at 90% is good. Yeah. Any way you look at it, Okay, number 3. We have the Bont in round 12, a close win over the Magpies. He had 38 disposals, 2 goals, 9 tackles, 10 clearances.
I remember that game as well.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's the best player in the league.
Yeah.
He is the best player in the league.
Yeah, and what's funny is I was looking at a Bont one. And there was a couple. The game that we went to with the win over the D's, he was huge and had similar numbers. He did it like 3 or 4 times. In number 2, recent, we had Brent Daniels in round 23, 29 disposals, 3 goals, 13 tackles, 7 clearances in a win over Freo.
Yeah, so I didn't know anything about Brent Daniels. I'm like, who is this young whippersnapper? He's 25.
Yeah.
But he played with Dill Buckley. He knows Dill Buckley. And Dill was like, yeah, he's just, and I just heard from the Giants, he's a bit injury prone.
Yeah.
But he's properly fantastic.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
He's fantastic. And that game, that's a game that you tell your grandkids about. The day that Brent Daniels had 29 and kicked 3. But I think, go.
And so the people were like, he's definitely coming back to Melbourne.
Oh, right. Oh, but then he resigned, didn't he?
And then he resigned.
Yeah, right.
So
the
just
news
look
cycle.
out.
And then I think number 1, I think when I was researching this, when I saw this game, I can't believe we didn't make a bigger deal of it at the time. I know we mentioned it. It's Sherry in round 22 in a close loss to West Coast. He had 33 hitouts. He had 30 disposals, 13 clearances, which is a game high. The next highest was 8 clearances and 12 tackles. And I just think 30 disposals, 13 clearances and 12 tackles as a number 1 ruck is incredible. That was a virtuosic performance, and I think that is statistically the best performance of this year.
He ended so strongly.
Yeah.
But I think maybe he suffered from the rest of his team getting tired.
Yes.
But he was good all year. And he got stronger.
That's a better game than Bont had all year as a number 1 ruckman. And still doing the hitouts. Like, incredible, right?
When they thought that, when the talk all year was going to be about Grundy and it was going to be about Luke Jackson and Darcy, and he's just come out of nowhere and looks great.
Yeah.
Tom, this is very strong. So that's your most dominant performance of the year is Cherry.
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
I'd be interested to see what people think, if they think there was a better individual performance. I almost put a Daicos game in, potentially the one against Melbourne. There was quite a few. There was a couple of Heaney performances, but I felt like that one was number 1.
Who were they playing that day?
That is a good question. Oh, they just lost to the West Coast by 3 points.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's funny, these games where it seems quite prevalent that the teams they're playing against the bottom 8 teams.
Yes.
And some people just cook out.
Some people just pop
like
off.
that Marty. Who was that? Was that Adelaide or Port that day?
It was Adelaide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's It's like when you show up on a Monday night basketball game and you see you're playing against an on-the-go team. You're like, I'm going to be Michael Jordan.
Yeah, next year it'll be Ben Brown showing up at the local YMCA and just
exactly right.
dunking on people.
Well done, Tom. That's very good stuff.
Thank you, mate.
That's great stats amore from Tom. And this is a sting from Tom.
Gadget type operators.
I thought we should do early tips.
Okay.
And then go back and tip again on Wednesday.
Yeah, great.
Like, why we're sitting now and we don't know teams, how are we feeling about? The first one is Port Geelong.
Okay. I think at Adelaide Oval, Port, I give Cats.
Do you really?
Chance. Yeah.
Because I just think Geelong won't lose. I think Geelong might win the flag.
They might. I'm not writing them off, but I feel like as far as tipping and what my gut's telling me, what my brain's telling me, it's Port all the way.
Okay. I'm sitting Geelong at the moment.
Yep.
Dogs, Hawks. So my big thing on this is I didn't realise, and I think this changes it fundamentally for me, is Hawthorn on Friday night trained at Tigerland because they needed to train under lights because they've barely played a night game in forever.
Really? I didn't know that. That's
I think it's like
very interesting.
2 games in 2 years or something like that.
Yeah, right.
I've made that number up.
Yeah, but it's low.
So that changes everything for me because that's wet ball all of a sudden, like different color ball.
Yeah.
It different time of day. Like,
yeah, I don't think Hawthorn will have played a Friday night game this year. I don't think. Doggies played a few. We went to one. I could be so
on
wrong
the other
with that.
hand, Doggies have played 2 games at the G this year, right?
Yeah.
And it's their home game.
Yeah.
So there is that negative for them. They've built their game to be just completely and utterly dominant at the Marvel, which I call the Marvel Cricket Ground. It was the MCG.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think my brain is saying Doggies because I've backed them in all year, but my heart is saying Hawks. I think the Hawks.
You're at heart you're a Hawk.
Yeah, I think the Hawks, and maybe it's for the storyline and maybe it's momentum, maybe it's recency bias. I think Bulldogs are more experienced at finals. They have premiership players in their side.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many premiership players Hawks have. Obviously, they have Gunston and a few others, but Bulldogs are stacked with premiership players. So, yeah, I think it'll be a big occasion and the young Hawks will either rise to it and relish it and lap it all up, or they might just
If we're sitting
falter.
here next week and one is eliminated, which one is it not the end of the world? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, yes, I think Doggies have done well, but I think, Hawthorn, it's big whoop. We'll come back to
Hawthorn's like, you know what? That's fantastic. We didn't even expect them to be there.
Yeah.
So
after they lost the first 5, yeah.
It feels right that like next Monday we're sitting here going, look, I think we all knew this was going to happen. But, and if dogs lose this, then it's a huge miss. Like, it's devastating because they are arguably the best list almost now in
That's what I keep saying.
Yeah. So if they lose this, I think Doggies fans have just dropped all the pessimism recently, and now they're like, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
And if I think they'd be really low if they lost it.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
And then GWS Sydney. Mm-hmm. People are very big on Orange here.
Yeah, I think they should be.
So I got it wrong last week when I was like, Giants have beat the Swans most times. Not true. Like, Swans have beat them twice this season, but the Giants have beaten Swans 3 times in finals or something.
Yeah, right. It's interesting. I feel like it's similar to Hawks Bulldogs. I think Sydney are the better team and have played better all year, but Giants have that momentum, the swagger, like
Thomas,
getting up about it.
I'm going to go.
Yeah. It's going to be so much fun.
I'm going to fly up and go.
Yeah. That'll be awesome.
I'm going to fly up and go.
Up and go. You got seats sorted?
Yep.
Oh, it's going to be a great time.
I'm an official member of the GWS Giants now.
Yes.
And then the last game, Carlton-Brisbane.
Yeah.
This is the one you expect to be. But do you know what? Do you know who's available and fit and ready for a selection?
Yeah.
Sam Doherty. Now, just put him in.
Yeah, I think you got to. I think it doesn't matter though.
Just put him in.
The Brisbane will just absolutely blow them to smithereens. And it was interesting. I don't know.
I don't know.
I saw on Twitter that someone, I forget who, was showing the results of the VFL wildcard round for the last 3 years. And it's been like the team that won the wildcard has come into the final and got done by like 88, 66.
VFL?
55. Yeah.
But why? So AFL different? Oh,
Because the VFL actually do the wild card at the moment, I believe. Is
Yes,
my
they do,
understanding.
they do.
Yeah. So they've been blown out, and I feel like this is it. Carlton, so good you made it. So good for a young list that's developing and finally getting there. But you are going to learn the hard way what it's like to play finals footy, I think.
does it change that argument? If it was the same team, I would go 100%. But this team's going to be maybe 5-6 players different.
Yeah.
Curnow,
And they played
Mackay,
finals last year, and they were pretty good.
Curnow, Mackay, Doherty, a few more, McGovern.
It's less about Carlton and more about how good. It's less about how bad I think Carlton is, because I think they're great. I think it's just more about how good Brisbane is, especially at home.
And last year, all these things lead to it. It has to be Brisbane in my head, which makes me think that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Like, they pumped them last year. They are the better team. The other team has nothing to lose. There's so many things that I'm just trying to pump it up and make it, because obviously Brisbane will win by 100 points. But
Yeah. No, like I'm not. Yeah, I feel like that's the case. But if Carlton came out and won, I wouldn't be like, my mind's blown. I'd be like, wow, that's so cool. But I wouldn't be like, that's the biggest surprise in the world. Like, of course they can win.
who does? There's no way of knowing this with our mental acuity,
Aplomb?
which is
Yeah.
whoever wins this game, who do they play next week?
Yeah. So the winner of 5th and 8th will play the winner of 6th and 7th.
Oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So who is
No,
that?
actually, the loser of 1 to 4 will play. So the loser of Port and Geelong, I think.
Will play Brisbane.
No, it'll be the loser of Sydney and Giants will play the winner of Brisbane and Carlton, because they're the top, so they get the easier draw, I think.
So only I know that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, we should be able to see it on the website. But
Yeah, there'll be some sort of Instagram post. We've just done it all, but we can't be doing that.
I did screenshot and everything, but
This was a professional show. People asking, by the way, how was Ballarat when we went there last Sunday? Incredible.
it was so good.
We actually ended up going.
No.
We had prior commitments, and I'm quite thankful because that looked fucked.
Yeah.
That was the storms. How windy is it, by the way?
Oh, so windy. Yeah, we both flaked out, sadly. Broden had good excuse. I just was exhausted, so.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go back to this on Wednesday night, and we'll go in more detail.
Yeah, I can't wait.
But I'm pretty jacked for it.
Yeah.
I'm also jacked for a Suva.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen Koutafidis is running for mayor?
No, that's fucking hilarious.
He's running for mayor of Melbourne, and he's like, free coffee day. And he's like, everyone gets free coffee. And he's like, public transport's free on Fridays. He's going full Cooter.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, but where's he getting this money, Cooter?
Well, exactly, yeah. You have to raise the rates.
I would vote for Cooter if I lived in the city of Melbourne.
Oh, is it actually like code 3000? Yeah, right. No, that would be hard.
What are you talking about?
As in like postcode 3000, like right in the middle.
I should fact check, but he's going for Lord Mayor. Yeah, he's going.
Yeah, right.
And I think in a kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger governor of California kind of way, please make Koutafidis the mayor of Melbourne.
Yeah, it would be funny.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, it would be funny.
It would get real Greek up in here too.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Like, he'd have some Greek backing.
Yeah, he could relaunch Suvaki Hut or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I think I'm going to vote for Cooter.
Yeah, will we get to vote?
No.
No, okay.
We've just had Lord Mayor Sally Cap,
Yep.
and then the person who's come in now ban my e-scooters.
Yep.
So they lose my vote.
Yeah, 100%.
Cooter, if you're listening, which I know you are, Cooter. Cooter, you let me be your chief bandwagon officer, Cooter.
Yeah.
Yes, great. What are your Malakas, Tom?
Okay, so it's one of those times that I'm pretty sure we've covered every single thing, so we'll just smash it
No, but
on.
it's good. No, please.
So this is a Malacca for me. but it's the Windy Hill parking. I can't believe I thought I would just show up and get a park. I parked on the other side of the train station.
Yeah, long way
And let
away.
me tell you, my son weighs 15 kilos and he can't be bothered walking.
That's a thick boy.
I carried that boy for 780 meters or whatever. I tell you what, I was all about, suburban grounds. I'll just swing over there and park on the street. Nah, I'm over at Build next to Windy Hill, a 10-story car park.
What used to happen when there was, when like the VFL days when they played there?
I reckon because I've never been there before. In fact, I'd never been to Essendon, and I got beeped a few times around those fucking crazy roundabouts because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. You know the roundabout where there's like the trams going through and everything?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucked. So I got beeped a few times. I reckon there's places to park. I just didn't know them.
No, I drove around for a little bit and I gave up.
Yeah, and I was tempted to, especially because Atlas had been in the car for
But
like
you
35
showed up
minutes.
after the game had started, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you showed up half an hour early, you would have found a park.
You reckon? Yeah, fair enough. Okay. But so that's a Malacca and me, but still Windy Hill parking.
No, the city, I think it's my council. Eds will roll.
Yeah, good. The second one is the W season's so short. So I roll out this Malacca every now and then, but fucking injuries. It hurts so much when it's only 12 rounds.
You hate injuries.
Yeah, and just again, like the Clark and Bonnie Too Good one was so brutal. I hope they're both okay. I don't want to see any injuries ever, but it hurts even more when it's only 12 rounds in 11 weeks.
Bonnie, too good friend of the pod.
Yeah.
Should have her back.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah.
That would be too good.
That would be too good. Third Malacca. Those bloody moths.
Moths.
Moths. Too many moths.
Need a bit of bloody raid down there to
Yeah.
them. I wonder why they were there. If anyone has a scientific...
Do you think it was because of the lights?
Yeah, I think that they like warm. But
Warm lights.
but that doesn't mean there should be more moths than usual, does it? Why were there so many moths?
No one can ever...
Because it's not
ever
the
know.
first time someone's turned on lights at night.
That's true.
So explain the moths.
Explain the moths. And then the fourth Malacca is, of course, the wind. Like, you can't play... Like, so many of these games had such poor conditions because of the bloody wind.
Look, hey, Tom, let me talk about the wind for a second.
I'd love to
When it
hear.
comes to footy, yeah, I would prefer games without wind. But can I... Hot take, controversial take.
Yeah.
You know, people say, I don't like when it's raining. Or some people say, I don't like when it's cloudy. People say, I don't like it. You don't like it when it's windy.
Yeah.
Some people say that and like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't like it. It makes it's hard or it gets my hair. Or
Yeah.
some people say it makes them dizzy.
Yeah, okay.
Me, I love wind.
Yeah?
I love windy days.
Would you...
Do you know what it makes me feel
Yeah, go,
like?
yeah.
It makes me feel like I'm swimming. Like I'm swimming in water, but it's wind.
Oh, yeah. Would you fang down 100 kilometers an hour on the freeway and wind down the window?
Yes.
You like doing
I
that?
like doing that
Yeah,
like a
no,
dog.
I don't like that.
Like a dog. And it's fun that you can can't breathe.
Yeah.
You know, I can't even take in air.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I reckon if I wasn't... Yeah, I reckon if I'd played less GTA, I'd ride a motorbike. The main reason I don't ride a motorbike is because, you know when you steal a motorbike in GTA and then you drive it and then you hit a car and you fly?
Yeah.
That's
Like
not
18
fake.
minutes. Yeah.
That's what happens.
My friend Zach was telling me about...
Which Zach?
Zach Ruane from Auntie Donna.
Yeah.
Was telling me about these things called onsens in Japan, and I think you should do one.
Onsen.
He went to it's this whole thing. I won't tell you all about it. But he basically went in the sauna that was so hot, it was illegal in Australia. It would have been illegal. So I think you should do that when you go to Japan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just going to have some ramen when I go there.
Yeah, but go to do an onsen as well.
Okay.
Last Malacca is the Doggies W game next week. So we were very upset on Wednesday about it being a clash with the men's final.
Yes.
And the AFL has moved it as a curtain opener.
Yeah.
But the W have still had to move their redeveloped Whitten Oval launch down the track, and people are still very unhappy about it.
I think it's a small win.
A small win.
It doesn't make sense. Did
No.
anyone with a W ticket can go to that game?
That's sold out.
But how do they leave? Do they have to leave after that?
No, it makes no sense. I think, like you said, it's a small... They've won the battle, but they've lost the war there. And the AFL, it's just like...
But it as far as a practical measure, the Doggies would have had to, for 1 week, double their staff. They would have had to figure out this home game and then go over and run this for a large part, or divide and conquer. And they would have had half the staff on a 90,000 game.
Yeah.
And then half at Whitten Oval.
Yeah, because the media team usually work both and stuff. So they would have had to split all that.
At the very least, it allows for the football club to be able to work properly.
Yes.
So that's a minor win.
Yeah.
And they get to do their launch another day. But
They're going to
still-
do it against West Coast.
Still not ideal.
No, not ideal at all. So that's all the Malakas.
I give it to wind. I hate wind.
Yeah,
No,
right.
I don't. No.
All right, we got some Suvas here as well.
Please.
So, first Suva, Track putting the drama to bed. Thank you, Track. If nothing else.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting it to bed.
I appreciate it.
The Giants W team having an 800% percentage.
800%.
800%, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it must be a record or something, right? Like,
I mean,
yeah, look at that percentage. 800%.
That's some great percentages. Let's go through these.
But the funniest thing
So,
is, like,
St Kilda, the highest percentage St Kilda would have ever had, 370%. Oh my God.
even 3 with 304. This is what we love about round one. But I love that about GWS.
800%.
Especially because Marnie was telling us that, like, this is the game that the doggies had marked in the calendar as a win.
Yeah, they are unfortunately very young.
Yes.
And they've got a new coach and it's all young. But we were like, Giants, we don't know if they're good or not.
Yeah,
Giants
I think a lot of people had them for the wooden spoon.
I think they're pretty good.
But that's what I've also enjoyed about the first weekend of W as well, is a lot of people are hot on the Suns and we came out and were bad.
A lot of people are hot on the sun, yes.
Yeah, the Saints were excellent. Like, I don't know if they were hyped up. Their ball movement was phenomenal. Vesely was just like tore us apart. It was fantastic. Anyway, I digress. We had Eilish O'Dowd for that ripper first possession, first goal.
Yeah.
And then I had, the North Revenge game today. So this was Brisbane's biggest ever loss today.
It was really hot up there too. Like, it was 35 degrees and there was
They
extra.
extended the time and the halftime. But I just thought that's the way to do revenge for last year's grand final. Beat them by the biggest margin they've ever lost by, like fucking A North. And I reckon if I'm a North supporter, turn off the men's for like the 3 years. Just go for W, mate.
Do you know what's funny?
Yeah.
Is we went to the W launch.
Yes.
And there was a tree there.
There was.
But they stopped that night was all about Brisbane.
Yes, it
They
was.
never stopped talking about Brisbane.
Yeah.
The CEO of Brisbane was one of like the 2 or 3 people that spoke.
Yeah.
They stopped the whole presentation to show a film about Brisbane
Yeah, it was
winning.
like 15 minutes long too.
It was Brisbane,
massive.
Brisbane.
Yeah.
And the people who would have been in the room that night, I know Kearney was there.
Yeah.
All the North players would have just been standing there going, all right, great. They would have been so fucking revved
Stroppy.
up.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's, yeah.
And then last Suva, I had Daisy's first win in a nail biter. Like, what a win.
Oh, so
Yeah,
good.
So
no,
good.
that has awoken Perth.
Yes.
Like, Perth needed that so bad.
Yeah, I think, the West Coast W being dominant is great for footy.
Can I do a Suva?
Yeah, please.
So Vince Rugari, a writer for the Sydney Morning Herald, who I went to school with in grade 3.
Yeah, at your private school.
In Adelaide, he wrote a book called Ange Ball, which is the definitive biography of Ange Postecoglou. And the EPL has just started, and this book's out, and I would recommend you go and give it a read to learn about Big Ange.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Look at it. Right there.
Okay, great.
I mean, now we just sit in silence. What a great week it was.
I have headlines.
Did you, huh?
I have headlines. It's the only thing I've got left.
Oh, headlines. Yes, headlines. Yes. And now it's time for the headlines. And then we put news. You put news in this week.
Yeah, okay, great.
Thank you. What's your one very likely to happen?
Will Track make a move in 2025?
Yeah. I've got both negative. I've got Petrarca, it was good he did this. Petrarca, it was bad he did this.
Yeah.
So that'll be just be a just sort of fallout, like
Yeah.
after a nuclear blast, just fallout articles.
Yeah.
Here's another one I think that will happen.
Okay, great.
They're like, okay, Clary's done. Petrarca. Gorn, should he leave? So we'll have that this week. How about you?
Okay, I've got, with all these trades, the Tigers will have one of the great draft hands and bounce back up the ladder. I think we'll see some positivity about the draft hand.
What is their draft hand?
Well, I mean, I just assume with Bolton, Rioli, like how many people are being traded out? I don't think they've got anyone just walking. Like, it'll all be trades. So they should have like 5 or 6 first rounders, I reckon.
Yeah.
Including pick number 1.
Yeah.
So
There's a couple of good draft hands as well. Like Perth have 2 top 10s or something like that, don't
yeah,
they?
Freo do. Yeah. He said Perth. Which is funny. Yeah, but nothing on what the Tigers will have, I think, if they get good deals for everyone. But I just think it's funny because they'll be down the bottom for like 5 years. But it's funny that some Melbourne people will get hype about them, which is great.
Yeah, great. And what we won't see any chat about is the W. Oh no, we will a little bit. We'll try and do as much as we can here, and but go on. There's a bunch of good podcasts covering W now. Mm-hmm. If I open the floodgates, I'm going to have to name them all.
Yeah,
but they are out there. Georgie Parker, who was on this on the pod the other day, has started an AFLW one that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Gemma Bastiani and the AFL.com.au team have a good one as well.
Yep.
There's obviously Outer Sanctum, it's been flying the flag for women's football for a decade now. Yep. Are there other ones?
There's an AFLW fantasy one, which I can't remember the name of, which is excellent. I should look it up, shouldn't I?
Hester Brown has one that covers W to some extent. There's so many out there that you should give a listen to.
Free Kick, the AFLW fantasy podcast. It's the only AFLW fantasy focused podcast.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Well, on that note, we hope you have a wonderful week. It's going to be so exciting. I'm so excited to watch some footy, finals footy, I should say. And then also the W was fantastic this weekend. Talk to Mans about that in more detail. Tom, next time I see you, you'll be 40 kilos lighter.
Yeah, probably.
You'll be 80 kilometres further. And you all will be listening. I've lost the plot. Bounce that pill. So someone said in the chat a little earlier that I just got to address. I hope they're still here.
I'm playing outro music. But yeah, go. It's fading now.
I've just got to say, someone said earlier in the chat something about they're listening from Seoul, Korea.
Oh, right.
Courtney, if you're still here, reply, because I want to talk about Seoul. I'm going to go to Korea in a little bit, but I'm going to run into North Korea and start my life under Supreme Leader. At least that's my intent. But I am going to Korea, so I'd love to talk about it. But thank you for listening. Those who've just found us on a Sunday night, 112 of you, thank you so much. Any questions you all have? When I can talk to you, we can talk about the pod. Is there anything that needs to be cut there? I think just sharpening when there's dead air and shit like that when we talk about the lag. Is there anything else?
I don't think so. I think it was all good, really.
Yeah.
I had an awful first week of AFLW fantasy.
Tell us about it.
I got 1,044 points, but sadly I had Bonnie Toogood who got subbed out with 5 points. And I had a few really high scores on the bench and a few low ones on field with the rookies, so I just stuffed up a bit. But what was funny is we had Mimi Hill on, so I backed her in as my captain this week. I was like, I'm having Mimi Hill. Did not perform as good as she normally does. Bummer. So that was also, sadly, I did not perform very well at all.
How do you find the Supercoach to fantasy thing, honestly?
Honestly, I can't stand fucking fantasy. And if Supercoach did a W, it'd be see you later.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. I just don't understand. They have this utility, right? And the utility is not an emergency. They don't score on your team, but you have to pay for someone to be in utility. What are you for, utility? I think you can sub them on. So I have a midfielder in my utility. What if I need someone in the forward? It makes no sense, Broden. I don't understand. What? And the scoring system is really bad.
Don't we have mates who, or people who listen who do podcasts?
Yeah, but they go, Tom, you don't understand. And they give me a lecture, Like there's probably people in the comments right now starting to give me a lecture. But yeah, and the scoring system's really bad, and unlimited trades as well just means that it's too easy. I hate it. But I like it so I can get more involved with the W and that side of things.
Adam said, surely Goodman is gone now that Petrarca is committed. I don't believe that is what will happen, Adam. I think we'll see other people move before that. But that's my guess. What did you think of the ties at the AA? I didn't even watch it. I saw someone tweet and it really encapsulated how I thought. It's like, I think Lenny or whatever said it. Imagine live watching the AA is psychopath energy. Like it is a little bit like why.
I love the Brownlows.
Even the Brownlows are a bit psychopath energy. But like watching a function from home, like they're set up as fancy dinners for you to attend. But if you're not attending, that's psychopath stuff, I think. But I do it sometimes.
Yes.
Hello, Claire. Ooh, spooky. Couldn't agree more with Daddy. It's so bad compared to SC.
Supercoach, that is.
Yeah. Matt said, 7 just tweeted one of your hype videos, Broden.
Oh,
get it up, Tom.
Let's get it up.
We're going to share them out soon. What happens with Cozzy? I think he stays probably now. Will you release any Daddy merch? We're going to do a collab with Ken, but I'm going to have to launch it next year because I just ran out of time.
Yeah, fair enough.
Ken from front office or Queensland Football Club. Will you release any Daddy merch? Tom, when will you stream OSRS again?
I I meant to ask you about this. I'll ask you off pod, but I'm trying to stream 150 hours this month, so I'll be streaming as much as I can.
You're doing. You got too many things on, Tom.
Yeah, I know. So what I was trying to do as a cop out was, because it's a big finals, I don't think it'll affect our numbers, was multi-platform stream the rest of September.
Jesus.
If you're up for it.
Yeah, no, I'm up for it.
Yeah, so I could have done it today, and I could have had like 2 hours of streaming today, you know?
You should.
But I'm an idiot. And I forgot.
The more the merrier, I think. Why don't you stream while you're editing this?
Yes.
That'd be fascinating footage.
Yeah, no. So like tomorrow night, I'm going to do the finals stings. I'm going to go live tomorrow night and do a bunch of stings and stuff. And then, yeah, I've got a busy week this week, but hopefully I'll have time to jump on and play
We
lots
have
of
to have a
RuneScape
little
and do
meeting.
fun
I have to
stuff.
take you and Marnie through what I want to do for the live.
For the
pod.
live, yep.
But my main thing I want to say to both of you is don't be afraid to talk. Like talk, and I will make it will be funny.
Yeah, I trust you. I believe it'll be great.
So like you both of you just talk.
Yeah.
And we'll make it work.
Yeah.
But the worst thing we can do is feel like, oh, we don't want to say the wrong thing live. No, we want it as intimate as possible.
Yeah.
Because I
100%.
did 2 Guys 1 Cup live on Saturday.
Yeah, how was it? You didn't even mention it.
I live is awful for someone with anxiety as well, because everything I do live is often prepared.
Yes.
So when you
Very,
have to
very
just get up in front of people, the energy of, and it was a lovely warm audience as well. So when an audience is laughing, you get a bit confident. And they're like, and you just, the way live improv works, or live talking improv works, is you've just got to keep trying. And I walked out going, I reckon I said like 15 inappropriate things there.
It's funny because Will's a master of it.
Will is the greatest live performer I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
and
do
he
comedy.
loves doing off the cuff, just improv stuff.
But
which
that
is
was,
great.
and then I was talking over him at points.
Yeah,
and
that happens though.
and I was
you know.
like, and I got too because sometimes you got to lock in. Like, the main thing you've got to have is when you perform live, the best thing you can have is just complete, naive, egotistical confidence and arrogance about yourself. You've got to think, I am so good at this. And then when you get off, you go, I am not so good at this. But you have to have that energy, because if people can feel that you're half timid, then it doesn't work. You've got to be like, fucking yeah.
Yeah,
and
this is funny. You got to believe it. Yeah.
And so it was a bit horrifying. And then I called like 8 people the wrong names as I walked down. I was like, I can't deal with this. It's too much stress.
Yeah.
You should get your guest to sign the Sharon. Yeah, I know I should have done that.
Yeah,
and then we raise
Broden
money
Kelly
for
did,
some
yeah.
sick kids or something, don't we? Like, that's what you do.
People of Appalachia.
Appalachia. That's it's amazing how many people are like, you've got Appalachia. It was not Appalachia.
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 It's just Appalachia's a place, isn't it? Have you decided if you'll edit up some live shows into a pod or not? I don't
It's a
think
great
so.
question. I'd rather die. We
Yeah.
did it last year and it took so much time. And we
Yeah,
put
and
it-
just the quality you get back from the venues is just so varied.
But also-
and, you know.
the energy in a room of something going well is so different to the energy of listening back to it.
Yes.
It's like, yeah. So the idea of them being ephemeral moments is probably a better vibe.
Yeah.
Also, it's a nice fail-safe in case we say the wrong thing.
Yes.
Any last questions before we bail out? Just a lot of people saying Appalachia.
Yeah.
I've hurt my neck and it hurts. You can stop recording, Tom.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? They say it's saying.
Tom, you're talking to the mic.
Oh yeah. You know what's interesting with the jittery? It's saying that we dropped 0 frames.
That is interesting, but I saw it jumping here. So is it gaslighting us?
Yeah, it definitely is. I guess it might be on like the YouTube bandwidth then, not the. You know what I mean? It's not on like
YouTube,
the
you're right.
OBS computer thing. Yeah, but it's still us in our settings, you know. But yeah.
Well, let me watch this hype video. Shall I put the aux in and get it up? I'll get it up. You can turn that into a sting, Tom. I'll get it up. Where did they post it on? Like on X?
Yeah, you can find it on X. Yeah.
Which one? Which team was it?
Sydney top of the ladder. So
Oh yeah. Are people
in
saying?
order.
So they weren't going to post these on because there was some loophole that said they couldn't, and then
It's September now.
they fought it, and now they are. Let's play it back, shall we? No one said it. Oh, we've retweeted it.
I did, yeah. Sorry.
As much as some things change, the more they stay the same.
Here it is!
24 of the past 29 final series. They're like John
The
Wick.
comments are going to be so bad. They're going to be, we're doing a collab with Broden. Who's this bald cunt? But that, it was a really nice thing to do. And the team behind the scenes, they're very, very cool people. Now we're lagging again, Tom.
So weird.
I can see the jumps.
I don't know what it is.
The Brett Kirk mention. Oh, that's nice. Thank you for that. Should the Boomers get Ange as a consultant? That's a very lateral thought, but I like it. I hope people enjoy the Swannies one. It's funny once, like, because I feel, and maybe people disagree, but I feel like our community that we've kind of built here over the last 2 years is a predominantly positive one. It's a one where people don't take it too seriously and like a running joke and like a bit of a laugh. But when you go out into the outer world of full nuff fuckdom, there's just sad little boys who hate their life and hate everything about football but only watch football stuff. And so you've got to work. It's different to comedy world where there's mental people, but they come and go. But so you've got to work through that, don't you, Tom? Mm-hmm. Should we get off? I'm having a lovely time talking with people, even though it literally is just me echoing into this microphone. No one's really commenting apart from Ollie. It's just me sitting here yelling. It is a fail. It's good with the lag that it doesn't affect the audio at the very least.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not doing anything visually.
No, I'm
incredible.
even wondering if it's the NDI bridge.
It could be the NDI bridge.
Because, I assumed it was internet. It's always internet, but it's literally 0 out of 181,226 frames.
Is it? Should we talk to Bill Shorten about that?
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not the NDIS.
Oh, well done, Tom. That's good. I'm proud of you.
It's the NDI, Broden, but very similar.
How do I cope with burnout, Broden? Great question. Do you know, I recently found out, someone asked me a question and I went, oh, actually, that's a real worry. Someone said, when's the last time you went on a holiday? And I said, 2013.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I went, So I went home and I booked a trip to Japan by myself. My partner can't go. So I'm just going to go to Japan and sit on a mountain for 10 days and not talk to anyone. So I don't know if I'll
onsens.
I don't know if I'll enjoy it or not, but what's onsens?
So now you're a pod. It's like this tradition. It's like basically a public bathhouse in Japan, right?
Bathhouse?
Yeah. So you go super naked. You have to be 100% naked, but you have to scrub. You have to be 100% clean. You have to scrub yourself. And it's like they have like running water where you just sit and the water runs through you. Saunas that are like 80 degrees, like illegally hot, super hot water and stuff. And it's like the reason it came up is because you can't go in there with tattoos. If you have a tattoo, you can't go in there. So you'd have to cover.
I have a tattoo.
You'd have to cover.
I have two.
Because of the Yakuza in Japan, you can't go in there. And apparently,
I have a Yakuza war tattoo on back piece on my back.
So you'd have to cover up your tattoos. It's like a whole thing.
But what's the benefit of this?
It's just like the same benefit as, I guess, a spa and a sauna.
Is there a Macca's in there?
No. But it's like they're 4 stories, Broden, and they have like, you can go in there and just watch the news and stuff. It sounds.
You've said a lot of funny words. You've said illegally naked. You've said super naked, illegally hot, not illegal. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I was probably just going to go to the wrestling and have some ramen.
Yeah, no, I think talk to Zach about the onsen.
Imagine getting killed for an ABC tattoo and a Netflix tattoo. The Yakuza sliced my throat because I had an ABC logo on my bottom. Japan now has some onsens which allow tattoos, but they sound grubby. You know what I mean? I want them clean skin ones.
I don't even know if I'm saying it properly with onsen, but hopefully.
Onsens is how someone's spelt it here.
Yeah, great.
Shall we read the comments on this 7AFL thing and see?
Yes.
Love to see this. Bounce that pill. Well, that's all positive.
That's really positive.
A little too positive, if you ask me. Oh, no, here they come. Oh, a new candidate for the Melbourne board emerges, and that's Jay Clark's done that, and some people are tagging me in that.
Okay.
I don't think that's real, though. This pumped me up so much. Oh, good. Sydney fans seem to like it, and that's all that matters. Where did you retweet it? On the Footy with Broden? Yeah, on the Footy with Broden account, which is where I do all my best content.
It is. It's true.
You're right.
It is.
Is it on the Instagram too?
No.
They were the dogs.
Yeah, I think it looks to me like they're focusing W on 7AFL Instagram, and maybe they'll post it tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. There's a cool person who does the socials on. I should just message them and say, when are you doing them?
Dog?
Let me know. Collab, you fucks.
Yeah.
Tom, to say onsen better, you have to do the weird thing where you're almost doing the accent in a borderline way. So, yeah, I would say just don't do it.
I don't know how you would do. I don't even know how you would do that on sen. Like, what would you do? Like, you would swallow the N a bit or something.
I don't even want to explore.
Yeah.
But it's funny, the cool guy thing that everyone does on comments now.
Yeah.
It could be worse. I'm okay with it. It does. I have mentioned that when I did that thing with Netflix the other week or month, and then Netflix had to like, can you please explain why there's 550 comments of people saying Broden is a cool guy?
It's pretty funny.
Have you seen the results for the AFL Transatlantic League? Really cool seeing the game grow. No, I haven't. Who won? I'm going to guess Canada won. The Transatlantic Cup, yeah, who won? I remember Papua New Guinea used to be good. And Ireland would obviously be dope.
Yeah.
I feel it's a concern that the viewership is growing.
As you start to do Q&A.
As we just riff.
People love you, baby.
As we shoot that. And you, Tom, talking about Bill Shorten and the NDIS.
I'm off cam.
Tom's a hard lefty. Like, he's a real Labor. He was part of the CFMEU, Tom was. He was one of the guys down there protesting.
I'm joining the socialists with our mate Purple Pingers.
Oh, he's a socialist now. Look out.
Yeah, he's running for parliament as a Vic socialist. It's great.
Ollie, I didn't know you're a Blues fan, but don't you feel like there's no Blues fans here? Like, I feel like they're all over watching other podcasts or they're ringing into SEN. Like, we have had on this year, in the last 12 months, we've had on Vesio, we've had on Lewis Young, Jordan Boyd, Mimi Hill, Elijah Hollins. We have so many this is a Carlton podcast.
Yeah, I love it. People accuse you of being, oh, is this a Melbourne podcast? It's like, you'd be better off saying
give me one example where I've ever done anything Melbourne.
It's more of a Collingwood, it's Collingwood adjacent more.
Yeah. There's literally two of you talking about, but there's so many Carlton fans. Like, what do we need to do to get the Carlton fans listening? And do we want them?
Well, you need to go like more wog for sure. Like,
yeah.
The more Savlaki Kuda gear you do, like, yeah.
Yeah, but I've got to be true to myself. But I could start talking about, hey, what's the best way to throw a water bottle? That guy got banned, by the way. He was a young guy from Northcote.
Yeah. Just a surprise.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I guess a young guy. It makes sense. Like,
when I think of Northcote, I think of like a trombone player who,
went to a Steiner school. Yeah,
hipster stuff, and
he could have gone to a Steiner
hangs out bathrooms where he's playing trombone, not someone who throw water bottles.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what do you do? He's banned forever now. Silly mistake, but that's what happens. People make silly mistakes, and it's their life.
Imagine if they were just coming into MCC. Imagine if they were signed up when they were born.
Oh, that would suck. But then I guess he could still go to the cricket.
True.
Yeah, I feel like if I was to be honest, like because of Richmond's connection to Greek culture, I associate Richmond with more Greek culture, and I associate Carlton with more Italian and Macedonian fan bases. But that's just that's not true. There's a real mix of European migrant families from the 40s, 50s, 60s across all of them.
Yeah, like
even
my Greek
bombers.
families or bombers. Yeah.
Yeah. Has Joe been on the pod in the flesh? It's a great question, Ollie. In the depths of like January during the Australian Open, he came on and we did a Pokemon episode. Yeah. And it was great.
And we asked him on last week.
Yeah.
Remember? Because his power went out and we said, come be on the pod and hang out here.
He was sitting in the darkness with depression because his team had just got kicked out of the finals for 3 hours.
Silly boy.
But, yeah. Any final questions before we bail out of here, fam? If not, we'll go home. And by go home, I mean Tom will go edit and I'll get a souvlaki.
Delicious.
I think everyone's over me and I appreciate it and I respect it. I respect being over me. What are you doing? What are you having for dinner, Tom?
I'm not sure, but can I tell you what I had last night? I had a baked chicken So
A whole
it was,
chicken?
So it was like chicken breasts, right? And it was like a tomato, like cherry tomato sort of thing. So it was, and then like cheese on top. And that's keto bread. Isn't that crazy? It was like delicious.
Yeah.
It was like a red chicken sauce.
Yeah, sick.
Just tomatoes, chicken and cheese. It just,
And it went off.
oh, it was just delicious. You're supposed to have pasta with it because it makes a lot of sauce.
Isn't there a
but-
joy to finding things that are delicious that aren't Macca's? Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you know what I'm really into is like I'm obsessed with, and I can only have one a day because they're not great, is the BSC low carb protein bars.
Yeah, you like them.
I really like them. But they still have like 6 grams of sugar in it though, so you got to be very fucking careful.
Shit, yeah.
But one a day is great, you know?
BD's been very rude and said, he says, I reckon you should ask for a final questions for a 19th time.
Broden gets chatty.
Anything is keto if you say it is what Destruction Lane has said.
Not quite, but yeah.
I think this is keto, and that's why I'm getting out of here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this impromptu Sunday night. Is that the last BWS one?
No, there's one more.
Great.
Yeah,
Cool.
right. Probably grand final week, I think.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be dead by then. But thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful one. Speak soon. BTP. Bounce that pill. You know, lick face.